Myles Lewis-Skelly. Myles Lewis-Skelly is causing a stir on social media. So let me just talk my stuff for a second. Yeah. The first thing I want to say is this. Arsenal are not allowed to have nice things. We're not allowed to have good things. And I think a lot of people are hypocrites, people, internally at our football club. But you know what? It's a safe space on this platform. It's always a place of love. Forget what my fellow Arsenal brother and sister are saying. Yeah, part them off because they're part of the family. They internally, we can say whatever we want. Yeah. But to the broader world of football, you see why I don't like you lot, yeah? Well, I know we're not Manchester City, but when Manchester City have all whole heap of midfielders, nobody does the talking points that I'm seeing with my football club. When Real Madrid do it, yes, we are not Real Madrid. That's the ambition of every club, to be like Real Madrid. We're not Real Madrid. They're allowed to have all of these midfielders and players. And I'm not saying some of these talking points aren't necessarily there, yeah? But you don't like to have your cake and eat it. You look at the likes of Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, on the theme of this central midfield, Declan Rice, indirectly Zubimendi. When I look at them two, yeah, Declan Rice and Zubimendi, up until a point, statistically, was that not our first choice midfield duo? Was it not? So it'd be fair to say the amount of minutes Rice played last season, and really and truly since he's got to Arsenal and probably before for club and country, is ridiculous. And that goes for a lot of players in this current landscape, right? People would obviously say Zubimendi was great in the first half of the season, fell off in the second half of the season, right? Obviously, there's many isms and schisms as to why that could have happened. Potentially, that could be the fact that of the amount of minutes he's played. You could indirectly tie an Eze into that, people. So people like to have their cake and eat it. You tell us we need depth because if there's any injuries and things happen, we haven't got anything else. And I get it. The media's the game. The minute Bruno comes in in addition to what we have already, Zubimendi's linked with Real Madrid and Chelsea. Myles Lewis-Skelly is linked with everywhere else. And I get it. These are easy players to kind of link. And there is a broader discussion. How do we keep them happy, etc., etc.? For a year, we finally got solid depth to allow situations where Rice can be rested or his absence. Bruno can fill in as well as partnering him. Obviously, you could look at the minutes played, suspension, injuries, needing to rest people. Go and look at the West Ham game. Best remembered for the VAR shagging and having the whole world in up in arms, and obviously Trossard. But you saw Declan Rice move to right back. We had no central midfield. If you had a Bruno in there, maybe that doesn't happen. In that Rice goes to midfield, we don't see the drop off, people. So it's only Arsenal fans that they say, "Oh, you need depth." The minute we get depth, how are you going to keep everybody happy and all of these things? For now, we need to keep the squad. I've said it before. What Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Myles Lewis-Skelly, and Bruno G can be for us is ridiculous. Myles Lewis-Skelly is the future of this football club. Big games, he's on it. You know how good Myles Lewis-Skelly is and how good he can be on a football pitch. So when it comes to Lewis-Skelly, I don't waste time talking about how good of a footballer he is. It's more about the mentality and everything else. And again, that's a 70 million plus player. Big games, he's always shown up whether we win, lose, or draw. He's, got a yellow card before he even made his debut. He's handled that. So that's one thing. And again, big up the rival fans who pre my content as well. You don't pick good teams to support, but you pick good content creators. You, man, are shameless, yeah, because you don't rate our players. And then you lot show your face. And I know social media is an exaggerated one, but I'm more referring this to my friends in real life who actually watch my content. You lot diss my players. The minute you're linked with a Myles Lewis-Skelly, Chelsea boys, I'm talking about you. Pecker Reds, I'm talking about you. You lot are twerking, skidding out back, you're getting hardy. Oh my God, he can be left back, he could be centre mid, he could do this and that. Shut up, man. Shut up, man. Go and do, this is what I talk about. You always talk about Cobham this, Carrot that, academies this and that. The minute you linked with a Hale End demon, you're Arnie, you're excited, you're skidding out batty. Say, hey, hands off, man. And again, there isn't too much where Arsenal are concerned, in it. We didn't get Rodgers. We didn't get Vinicius. The left wing search beyond Zolis is still going on. We've got Bruno over the line. For me, with the season kicking off next week and what we know about Saliba and Timber and Benjamin White, I can't lie, I would have loved the defensive reinforcement in for the start of the season, people. So it's a bit of a madness. But there's only so much they can keep peddling those things in the media, innit? There's only so much they can keep saying that. There's only so much you can keep putting our name with Bacola. So I understand journalism. The game is the game. Myles Lewis-Skelly, Zubimendi is you can get that engagement of Arsenal fans. Which one is going to be playing, yada yada yada, etc. People, it'd be crazy to sell Lewis-Skelly. We finally got depth. We played 60 odd games last season, for crying out loud. And we want to be here. If you're good enough, you'll play. If you're Lewis-Skelly, you should believe you could start in central midfield. The same goes for Rice, obviously, Bruno and Zubimendi. And what I like with those four is you can look at it two ways, innit? you could say if we're playing with a double pivot, there's four of you fighting for two spots, in which this is the scenario we want. Remember Berta when he came in, he did try to get Bruno G. We also tried to keep Thomas Partey when Zubi came in. So those 3 to 4 starting level midfielders competing for two spots has always been a thing that we've considered. But also on top of that, yeah, with the men I said, we're assuming that it's a double pivot of one of those two, well, four of the two, and then an Eze or an Odegaard. What I like is that you could have Rice as the lone six, potentially Zubi as the lone six, potentially Bruno G as the lone six, and anyone that's in that six, either side on the left and the right, you could have dynamic runners. So for argument's sake, people, let's just say Rice is at the base, Bruno's on the right, Lewis-Skelly's on the left. That's obviously meaning Eze and Odegaard are gonna have to fight for spots, and I've got some radical thoughts on that as well, man. Like, I'm not saying to do it, but why couldn't Odegaard, for example, just in being a bit cute and clever and having different game states, yeah, an Odegaard or an Eze, they can play mate from out wide. I know the question marks around that, people, but again, we don't want to keep being served up the same meal. So that's just the thoughts I wanted to get off my chest. Hands off Myles Lewis-Skelly, innit? Now, again, it's sent everyone into a frenzy. Myles Lewis-Skelly and what we're hearing about his future. Myles Lewis-Skelly, and even that, for some of these people saying he didn't play that much, go and look at the minutes. We played 60 games last season. Pardon me. We know we're going to have to fulfill 38. We want to go like every club. You want to go all the way in the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Champions League, etc., etc. There's games for everybody. Myles Lewis-Skelly finished 2025-26 on a high, first choice central midfielder for Arsenal, Premier League champion, and a starter in the Champions League final at just 19. Yet as the summer transfer window approaches a close, there have been reports of a possible sale to one of their domestic rivals, Chelsea United. Now, don't get it twisted. When I removed the Arsenal thing and you remove the fan cap, Man United is a massive club. There's an attraction to want to go and play there. They've been linked with a left back. They probably lack another centre mid. Lewis-Skelly ticks both of those boxes. So from their point of view, like with us, because Lewis-Skelly could very well have to get minutes at left back at some point if Kincapié and Calafiori get injured. Chelsea, obviously, by the same logic. So I understand the attraction, people, but that's where it has to stop. So what is the situation? How does Lewis-Skelly view his future? And what is the level of interest from elsewhere? And what should we expect in the weeks ahead of the September 1st deadline? After speaking with multiple sources familiar with the process, all of whom remain anonymous to protect relationships, The Athletic explains the lay of the land. Having broken into the team as a left back, he transitioned into his preferred role, central midfield. After spending a considerable portion of the 2025-26 season on the fringes, we all know he got his run in the team and he did his thing. Naturally, Bruno G for 75 million. The byproduct of that is everyone's got to fight a bit more. Gomares is likely to be Arteta's preferred partner for Declan Rice, with Lewis-Skelly and Zubimendi pushing for first team minutes. It's true, and you never know, but potentially the start of the season, I know Declan Rice is back in training, but potentially the start of the season, or maybe a minimum in the Community Shield, it could very well be Myles Lewis-Skelly. And I wouldn't rule out Declan Rice, but it very well could be Bruno G and Lewis-Skelly starting that. Lewis-Skelly's played in all of the pre-season games, people. Skelly, who has been at Arsenal since 8, is unethical. Well, I don't know about that. He wants to stay. He's neither seeking nor even exploring a move away from the Emirates Stadium. Having been part of the first wave of players to join up for pre-season training, Skelly has been a significant part of Arteta's pre-season plans. He has started the first 3 of the 4 games. The arrival of Gomares does not daunt Lewis-Skelly. Already in his young career, he's demonstrated the willingness and capability to fight for his place against more seasoned professionals. And again, if you're doing that at Arsenal, what do you think is going to happen at Chelsea? What do you think is going to happen at Manchester United? These are big clubs, right? So they're always going to have strength in depth, positions for spots. This is going to be the case at every football club. He did sign a new long-term deal. Arsenal maintain they have not actively offered Lewis-Skelly out for transfer after his impressive end to the season. He's not someone the club set out to sell this window. There are certain others in the Champions first team ranks who meet that description. As we know, Trossard's gone, Norgard's gone, Fabio Vieira, Gabriel Jesus, and Reece Nelson are all candidates to leave. Apparently, Reece Nelson is getting even closer to joining West Ham, people. I don't want to be that guy, but Nwaneri is a candidate to depart. Martinelli won't leave, in my opinion, until we get a left winger, but he's still linked with both Galatasaray and Roma, people. Arsenal do not actively want to lose Lewis-Skelly in football. However, you can never say never, which is true. Again, don't really care about Chelsea. Lewis-Skelly is better than probably all of these guys. It don't really make sense. If I was him, I'd prefer the Man United move. I'd understand wanting to stay in London, but it's BS. Stranger things have happened in football. You're going to have to make an offer like what we're seeing with certain other players. If you want Lewis-Skelly, you're going to have to make an offer Arsenal can't refuse. You're going to have to make something that is, you know, that is too good to turn down, that you're gonna have to overpay, rightly so, like what we're quoting. But Lewis-Skelly can fill in that left back, central midfield, can play on the right side of central midfield. The man's the future of this football club, man. And you know, again, I don't think we gas it up enough because of Declan Rice, because we're still excited about Bruno's arrival. I think people are mixed on Zubi. I think more people would want Zubi to go than Lewis-Skelly. I don't want either to go. I do think it'll be interesting to see a year from now what exactly happens. But it just shows in football things can change. Like Lewis-Skelly got his opportunity and he took it. And I keep sounding like a broken record. You need relationships. Bruno and Rice could be our first choice. But you've also got Lewis-Skelly and Rice who have shown they can do a thing. You've got Zubi and Rice that have also shown they can play together. And there's many different variants and denominations of such. So we're going to have to watch this situation. But we finally got the depth that we're crying out for. We're defending a Premier League title. For me, what sense does it make to let him depart? But you see, you rivals, you showed your face. You can never tell me you don't rate our players, because the minute you're linked with him, you're excited.